Next up we have Genesis 22, the binding of Isaac. This is a very anger-inducing story. This is Abraham's he sweat like blood moments. That's what I believe, at least. It doesn't come across like that from the story, but that's because the biblical authors write their stories in a way that is very annoying to read, and you have to like read into them completely in the spirit instead. The binding of Isaac. First of all, it's not Isaac who is being bound, it is Satan that is in Abraham, because he failed. Abraham failed when he did not trust in God, instead listened to Sarah, who had doubts about giving birth to Isaac. So now there is this betrayal part of Abraham, right? And that is the thing that needs to be bound. And God is using this little boy, this Isaac, to do the binding. Like Christ, who is the burnt offering, like Isaac was gonna be, but of course God wouldn't allow that. Like Christ, he bound the strong man. That is what's gonna happen in this story to Abraham. Specifically, the spirit of evil, betrayal of God, his faithlessness, his distrust, all these sins, that is the thing that's gonna be bound up. And it's gonna be bound up through this sacrifice. That's what this story is all about. But like I said, it's very annoying to read it. Yeah. There's a moment here where you're past a kind of threshold, and if you still love God, if you have still good things to say about God, that's great. It means you're a legitimate son of God. It's the God giveth and God taketh away. God kills something in Abraham. The strong man is bound, and then God cuts away something from Abraham. That's what I read into this story with my spirit. Anyway, let's keep going. The binding of Isaac. I didn't even start yet. This is a big story. There's a lot to say about this. This is the fiery ordeal that's happening to Abraham. This is something that will happen to many people who will be saved. And there's a lot of for me, there's a lot of wrath, anger, when it comes to stuff like this. It's like, what? This is how it has to be? I don't know. Let's keep going. Now, it was after these things that God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham, hineni, he said. So God is testing. In scripture it says that God doesn't tempt and he's not tempted, and that's true. There's this distinction. God does test. And this is where things get like a bit confusing, because it's also Satan who tests. The devil has asked to or demanded to sift you like wheat, Peter. So now you have God who tests, and there's also Satan who tests. Who is testing you? Does it even matter? The point is to overcome the test, after all, with Christ. And the way they test, it's not so dissimilar, as we're about to read. Then he said, take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains about which I will tell you. So a burnt offering is something that goes up to God, and it's supposed to be something that's pleasing. And here is God telling, yeah, this child that I promised you, you're gonna go kill him and burn him up for me. Human sacrifice. The only difference between somebody who believes in the Father in heaven and the father of lies is that the father of lies actually does want the human sacrifice to take place, and the Father in heaven doesn't. But the worshipper is kind of, he's willing to go all out. And that's kind of why it says in scripture, if you go this far with God, only he is good. You aren't even good anymore, because you were so devoted, you were so faithful. You became like something, you lost something, you were killed in some sense. It's like you died a spiritual death already in this life while alive. That's what the fiery ordeal feels like. Okay. Okay, so he's going up to the mountain. What does that word mean? Hineni. I need to look that up. That's what Abraham said to God, Hineni, right? He said to him, Abraham, Hineni, he said. So Abraham got up early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him and Isaac his son. He split wood for the burnt offering and got up and went to the place about which God had told him. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. Abraham said to his young men, "Sit yourself down here with the donkey. As for me and the young man will go over there, worship, and return to you." It's not yet clear in the story if Abraham understands that it is literally the son who is to be sacrificed. Like maybe he still has hopes and dreams about God will provide. And that's basically what faith is like when you are tested. It is a lot more feeble. It isn't strong. Like you read this story and you get the idea that Abraham was so strong in his faith. No, he was not. He already failed. With Sarah, he listened to Sarah, and then God had to cover up for him when he had to send his own son away. There was already like this mistake, and it's something that ate up Abraham. It had to have, otherwise this person, there's something really off with him. That, like Abraham has to understand, oh, now he's been tested because his faith faltered before. So now I have to walk this test. That's how it makes sense, at least to me. I'm pretty sure I'm correct in my reading of this story. Then Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and put it on Isaac his son. In his hand he took the fire. In his hand he took the fire and the knife, so the 2 of them walked on together. That's interesting, the way it's written like that. Then Isaac said to Abraham his father, "My father." Then he said, "Here I am, my son." He said, "Look, here's the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" Yeah, good question, Isaac. We're about to skip forward to you being on the altar. Abraham said, "God will provide for himself a lamb for a burnt offering, my son." The 2 of them walked on together. Like it is true what Abraham is saying here. There is such a snake quality to this man. The only reason he's innocent is because he believes in the true God. Like we see even today, and back then also we would have seen like human sacrifices, right? It's just that they didn't believe in the true God. They believed in a false idol, and that's why they did something horrific like a human sacrifice. The only reason Abraham isn't gonna do the human sacrifice here is because he actually believes in the true God. Is right? Like today people are also practicing human sacrifice. Like I just read this. They didn't get the vax for their little child and they think it's okay. You know, they're just happy they didn't have to take the vax even though it got their child killed. That's a human sacrifice in the modern world. Out in broad daylight. Whatever they worship, it is not God, it is a false idol. And they killed their child for it. Abraham is not gonna make that mistake though. Hold on. Okay. Then they came to the place about which God had told him, and Abraham built the altar there, laid out the wood, bound up Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. See how like they just skipped a big part of the story? This is what I say. It's kind of like annoying that they're how it's written, but it has to be on purpose like this. Like they just skipped like half of the movie right here. Yeah, Isaac, we're going up. God is gonna provide the sheep, and then cut to he's on the altar. It's like a skit. It's like a it's like comedic almost. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to slaughter his son. But the angel of Adonai called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham," he said, "Hineni." Then he said, "Do not reach out your hand against the young man. Do nothing to him at all, for I know that you are one who fears God. You did not withhold your son, your only son, from me." This had to have been the he's sweating like bullets moment for Abraham. The story makes it seem like, oh, he had so much faith. But logically, if you think about things in the spirit of truth, that cannot be the case. He already effed up with Sarah and the slave girl. This had to be addressed, and that's what's being addressed here. God used the burnt offering, Isaac, this innocent little boy, the promised one, the promised child, to bind up the strong man in Abraham. And what that means is, Abraham can now look in the mirror and say, I believed. I walked the walk up the mountain with my own son. I was going to do it. I actually do have faith. I don't have the crippled, faltering faith that I had before, where I was full of self-doubts and the accuser could accuse me. Right? It's dealt with. It's actually bound now because the son was put on the altar and he was going to go through with it. And he believed. And then God saved him. How blessed is Abraham that he worshipped the true God, right? If he had been misled like an idol, he would have just killed his son. You did not withhold your son, your only son, from me. Then Abraham lifted up his eyes, and behold, there was a ram just caught in the thick bushes by its horn. So Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son.